The late December wind cut through the grid of downtown Chicago like a razor, turning a picturesque flurry into a punishing blizzard in the span of an hour. Gabriel Sterling pulled the collar of his black cashmere overcoat tighter as he walked through Millennium Park. His mind was still spinning from a tense board meeting that had dragged on 2 hours past schedule. At 38, Gabriel had built Sterling Logistics from a backyard startup into a multi-million-dollar empire, but success had demanded a steep price. 3 years ago, his ex-wife had moved their daughter, Maya, to sunny California. Now, he only saw her during brief holiday windows and fleeting summer breaks. His Gold Coast penthouse was immaculate, high-tech, and completely empty. His life was full of milestones, yet entirely devoid of warmth. He was only taking the shortcut through the park because his private driver had called in sick, and Gabriel had impulsively decided to walk the 12 blocks home rather than wait for an Uber. The festive Christmas lights strung through the frozen, bare trees should have been cheerful. Instead, they just highlighted how disconnected he felt. To him, the holiday season had become just another stretch of calendar to endure. That's when he heard the sound, a faint, desperate whimper cutting through the howling wind. "Excuse me, sir, please." Gabriel spun around. Standing near a snow-covered park bench was a little boy, maybe 7 or 8 years old. He wore a faded denim jacket entirely unfit for a Chicago winter, a frayed red sweater, and jeans worn through at the knees. His dark hair was matted with freezing rain, his cheeks a dangerous shade of crimson, but it was his eyes that stopped Gabriel in his tracks. Why? Terrified, but fighting fiercely to hold back tears. "Hey, buddy," Gabriel said, stepping closer and scanning the desolate park for an adult. "Are you out here alone? Where are your parents?" "Sir, my baby sister is freezing," the boy's voice cracked, trembling violently. "I don't know what to do. She won't wake up." Only then did Gabriel notice the bundle clutched tightly against the boy's chest. It was an infant, wrapped in nothing but a thin, threadbare fleece blanket. The baby's face was scrunched up, her skin a worrying pale blue. Her cries had degenerated into weak, shallow gasps. Gabriel's paternal instincts, dormant for years, roared to life. He instantly shed his expensive overcoat. "Where is your mom?" he asked, wrapping the heavy wool around the bow. "Mom told us to wait here," the boy sobbed, his brave facade finally shattering. "She said she was just going into the store and she'd be right back. But that was before it got dark. I tried to keep Chloe warm, but she stopped crying. My mom always told me that when babies get too quiet, it's bad." "Is she gonna die, sir?" "No, she is not," Gabriel said firmly, though his own heart was hammering against his ribs. "What's your name, son?" "Leo. Everyone calls me Leo." "Okay, Leo, I'm Gabriel. We need to get you and Chloe somewhere warm right now. Trust me." "Okay. I have a daughter of my own. I'm going to protect you." Leo looked up at the tall stranger, saw the fierce sincerity in Gabriel's eyes, and nodded. Gabriel scooped the fragile infant into his arms, tucking her deep inside his suit jacket against his own body heat, and gripped Leo's frozen hand. Gabriel calculated the distance in his head. Northwestern Memorial Hospital was 12 blocks away through a blinding whiteout. His penthouse was only 4. "We're going to my place first," Gabriel told Leo as they battled a headwind. "It's closer. We'll get you warm, and I'll call 911 from there." Gabriel's expensive dress shoe slipped on the icy pavement. The freezing wind bit through his tailored suit jacket, but he barely felt it. His entire focus was on the faint, rhythmic rise and fall of the tiny chest against his ribs when they burst through the glass doors of his luxury high-rise. "Marcus," the night doorman gasped. "Mr. Sterling, what happened?" "Call Dr. Evans, my personal physician. Tell him it's a pediatric emergency and to come to my penthouse immediately," Gabriel ordered, his voice carrying the absolute authority of a CEO. "Then call the Chicago Police Department. Tell them I just found 2 abandoned children in Millennium Park, up in the penthouse." Gabriel laid baby Chloe on the plush living room rug, keeping her wrapped in his coat. "Leo, I need you to be my co-pilot right now. Can you do that?" "Yes, sir," Leo squeaked, shivering violently. "Go into the master bedroom down that hall. Grab every heavy blanket you can find off to bed." While Leo ran, Gabriel gently unwrapped the infant. Her lips were turning blue, her breathing dangerously shallow. Drawing on a pediatric CPR course he had taken a decade ago when Maya was born, he began gently rubbing her tiny hands and feet to stimulate circulation, whispering to her continuously, "Come on, Chloe, stay with me, sweetheart. You're safe now." Within 20 minutes, the apartment was a whirlwind of activity. Dr. Evans arrived just minutes before to CPD officers and a social worker from the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services DCFS, while the doctor worked to stabilize Chloe in the living room. Gabriel sat with Leo at the kitchen island, wrapping the boy's trembling hands around a mug of hot cocoa. "You saved her tonight, Leo," Gabriel told him softly. "You broke the rules and asked for help when it mattered most. That makes you a hero." Detective Vance, a seasoned Chicago cop, pulled up a stool. "Leo, can you tell us what happened today?" In halting sentences, the story poured out. Their mother, Diane, was a single parent battling a severe opioid addiction. She had been clean for several months, trying desperately to hold a job, but had recently relapsed. That afternoon, overwhelmed and desperate, she had driven them downtown, walked them into the park, and vanished into the city grid. She had taken her purse, her phone, and all their documents. Dr. Evans stepped into the kitchen, wiping his hands. "The baby is suffering from moderate hypothermia, but her vitals are bouncing back thanks to the quick incubation. We're sending her to the hospital overnight for observation, but she's going to make a full recovery." Gabriel let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. That as an ambulance crew arrived to transport Chloe, Leo panicked. He clamped his arms around Gabriel's leg, screaming, "Don't let them take her. Please don't let them separate us." Gabriel looked at the DCFS caseworker, a weary woman named Sarah Jenkins. "Where will they go tonight?" Sarah sighed. "An emergency shelter. Finding a foster home that can accommodate both an infant and a 7-year-old on short notice, especially right before Christmas, is nearly impossible. They'll likely have to be split up for the night." Gabriel looked at Leo's tear-stained face, then down at his massive, empty apartment. "They stay here," Gabriel said. Everyone in the room fell silent. "Mr. Sterling," Sarah Jenkins said gently, "you're a single man. You're not an approved foster parent. The state can't just leave traumatized children with a stranger." "I'm not a stranger. I'm the man who found them," Gabriel countered, pulling out his phone. "I have the space, the resources, and 24-hour security. I can hire a private pediatric nurse tonight. And I'm calling my attorney right now." It took 4 hours of legal maneuvering, an emergency home inspection by a midnight caseworker, and Gabriel leveraging every political and corporate favor he had ever accrued in the city of Chicago. But by 4 a.m., the state granted temporary emergency physical custody. The next morning, Gabriel's phone exploded. His assistant, Maria, called him in a panic. "Gabriel, look at the news. A passerby took a video of you carrying those kids out of the park last night. The Chicago Tribune is calling you the guardian angel of Millennium Park. The PR team needs to know how to spin this. Tell them no comment," Gabriel said quietly, looking at Leo, who was asleep on the couch, snoring softly. "This isn't a corporate stunt. It's real life. I figured you'd say that," Maria murmured. "I've cleared your calendar for the next 2 weeks. Go be a dad." The days that followed were a crash course in survival. Gabriel hired a retired neonatal nurse to help with Chloe's feedings and a child psychologist to help Leo process the trauma. He learned how to prep formula bottles at 3 a.m., how to soothe Leo through recurring nightmares about the freezing wind, and how to navigate the complex bureaucracy of family court. He discovered that Leo was incredibly sharp, possessing an obsessive love for NASA and space exploration. He also saw how fiercely protective the boy was. For the first week, Leo wouldn't let Chloe out of his sight, Are you going to send us away and the snow melts? Leo asked one evening while they were building a massive Lego space shuttle on the living room floor. Gabriel knelt down so he was at eye level with Debo. Look at me, Leo. I'm not going anywhere. And neither are you. As long as you and Chloe need a home, this is your home. 6 months later, Gabriel stood before a Cook County family court judge. Diane, the children's mother, had been apprehended a few days after the incident. Realizing she was facing severe prison time and unable to beat her demons, she made a heartbreaking, ultimate choice. She voluntarily terminated her parental rights, requesting that Gabriel be allowed to adopt them. Mr. Sterling, the judge said, tearing over her glasses at the wealthy CEO, your background check is flawless. The DCFS reports indicate that both children are not just surviving, but thriving under your care. Yet, you are under no legal obligation to take on this lifelong responsibility. Why are you doing this? Gabriel glanced back at the gallery. Leo was sitting straight, wearing a small navy blazer, proudly holding a chubby, smiling baby Chloe. Your Honor, when I found them on that bench, I thought I was saving their lives, Gabriel said, his voice thick with emotion. But the truth is, they saved mine. I had a successful company, but an empty life. Leo taught me how to be curious again. Chloe reminded me that life is fragile and worth fighting for. They gave me a family. I'm just asking for the legal right to be their father. The judge smiled, a rare sight in family court. Adoption petition approved. Congratulations, Mr. Sterling. 2 years later, on another chilly December night, the Gold Coast penthouse was no longer immaculate, nor was it quiet. Toes littered the hardwood floors. 9-year-old Leo was showing his older sister, Maya, visiting from California for the holidays, his latest science project, while 2-year-old Chloe chased the family's new golden retriever around the kitchen island. Gabriel stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, watching the snow fall over the Chicago skyline. His phone buzzed with an urgent email about a quarterly earnings report. He smiled, slipped the phone into his pocket, and walked away from the glass, stepping back into the warmth of the life he had finally built.